There is nobody that wants to be called a noob. I've played RuneScape for somewhere between 5 to 10,000 hours, and I've seen my fair share of noobs. So I have made a list of the top 5 mistakes many newer players tend to make, so you can be smarter than that and not repeat them. So let's start off with mistake number 5. Not questing early on. Even though you're not forced to quest in RuneScape, you should still focus on doing it early on. If you start questing as early as possible, you get level ups extremely quickly and you unlock a lot of new content. For example, you can do the waterfall quest on a brand new account just off Tutorial Island, and it will get you straight to level 30 attack and 30 strength. Leveling to that point with any other method would be an absolute waste of time, since the quest is just that easy. Or, as another example, the whole Mauritania area is locked behind the Priest in Peril quest. Even Swampletics on his Mauritania unlocked Ironman had to do the quest ASAP, and I think so should you. Skipping early questing will also create problems down the line, once you start missing the great items you get from questing. And doing low level quests as a high level is much more unpleasant, so it's even more likely that you're gonna be a high level without essential items such as Barrow's gloves. You will also get made fun of on Reddit for that, and I will be there to upvote it. But you also deserve being made fun of if you play old school RuneScape on PC and you make the top 4 mistake of not using RuneLite. So let's be honest here, even the mobile game client is a lot better than the official PC client for old school RuneScape. Over 70% of players nowadays are using RuneLite, which is an open source community client that is also approved by Jagex. The only reason why you should not use it if you're into masochism. It just provides so many useful extra features and quality of life upgrades that once you get into it, the game becomes almost unplayable on the regular client. People have gotten so used to it that they don't often even realize that things that we take for granted are actually RuneLite features, not from the game itself. Some essential plugins include the quest helper, the loot tracker, menu entry swapper, and either the 117 HD or the GPU plugin. And there's many more. RuneLite can help you out a lot, but not even RuneLite can save you from wasting your time if you really try to, such as by making mistake number 3 on the list, not doing research on training methods. It's no secret that RuneScape is an extremely grindy game, and training a skill takes extremely long. If you're going to spend tens or even hundreds of hours grinding for something, you should take a few minutes to research a viable method to do it. And I'm not talking about doing maximum efficiency methods, as they are not suitable for most people's playstyle due to often being way more intensive than regular methods. A great example is something I mentioned earlier, the waterfall quest, as it gives you 30 attack and strength so much quicker than any other training method could. But if you don't know about such things, and you don't even do the bare minimum research, you will waste many hours on doing such things. Another random example, imagine you're doing a skilling method that gives you about 40k experience an hour, but there's a newer method that is very similar in its nature, and it gives 60,000 experience per hour. If you did such a method from level 50 to 99, you would waste over 100 hours, which could have been avoided if you just googled thieving training OSRS and checked the wiki for a minute. But there's a thing worse than training inefficiently, it's not training at all, and due to this, our mistake number 2 is focusing on making money too early. Newer players tend to be too focused on money making, but they don't often realize two things. Firstly, money is just not very useful in the early game, since most useful early things just don't cost a lot. Don't make the mistake of trying to buy too expensive stuff, as you will be retiring all early game items quite fast anyways. Secondly, making money is very slow in the early and early mid game. Training your skills is going to be so much more useful than buying new things at this stage. Trust me, you don't need to grind moneymakers for 30 hours just to buy Bandos Tassets. They will give you +2 strength bonus, which is literally the same as just leveling up your strength by 2 levels, which is way quicker to do in the mid game. I think focusing on getting new items over leveling skills comes from following the high level community discussions and guides. Since, well, if you are 99 in a skill, the only way you can upgrade is by buying new gear. But if you are level 60 in a skill, gear is not very important, as you can just level up that quickly. Not only will training give you more damage and utility than new items, but also it's the best way to unlock new money making methods. It really doesn't make sense to do money makers that make you 200,000 an hour if you could train for a while and make 2 million per hour. Making money is hard, but it's extra annoying to do after doing the mistake number 1, falling for scams. You see so many lure attempts and scammers in old school RuneScape, especially in the Grand Exchange. It has always been this way, and RuneScape is notorious for having a lot of such people, trimming armor, doubling money, luring you to the wildy, and so on. The possibilities are endless. That being said, most experienced players already know to avoid them, so their main prey is newer players. So I have a few tips for you. Firstly, there is really no reason to trade people to buy or sell items. Just use the Grand Exchange. If anyone insists on trading items, it is extremely likely a scam. Secondly, This should go without saying, but don't drop your items if you don't want to lose them. Do not follow anyone that insists that you do. Do not meet their main who is going to buy your items in a PvP world in Camelot or whatever the current scheme is. Just always be skeptical of things like this. And remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it likely is. And lastly, even many experienced players fall for this, but do not try to outsmart the scammers or lurers. This may be where most of the lures succeed nowadays, as people try to anti-scam or just see what's going on. But it is likely that they will trick you. They will make you lose your items in a way that you don't even realize at first. They will make you think you're doing one thing, while actually the plan is something very different and you may not see through it. So just don't entertain their attempts. Instead, entertain yourself with the next video on the screen, as if you like this one, you might like that one too. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.